You close your eyes, your heartbeat slows, your muscles soften, and slowly you drift into sleep. But something essential, something alive within you, doesn't follow. It vanishes, slips away. Where does your consciousness go while your body lies motionless? This isn't just about dreams. It's not some random playback of memories. There's something older, deeper, spoken of in ancient Egyptian scrolls and whispered through forbidden Tibetan texts. It explains why you sometimes wake up with knowledge you never learned, why a single night can feel like days lived elsewhere, why you occasionally bolt upright in the dark, haunted by a fear that has no name. The truth is both terrifying and freeing. Your consciousness leaves. It travels, with or without your will. And what it sees, touches, and remembers in these hidden journeys is quietly rewriting your waking reality. Some called it the Great Sleep, others the doorway of the gods. But one name, buried in a manuscript burned by the church in 1587, reveals its true nature: the mandatory journey. Because no soul avoids it. Almost everyone returns empty-handed, not because the secrets are hidden, but because no one ever taught us how to see them. But they're still there, right now, inside your body, buried in sensation, in symbols, in strange fragments of memory, waiting for you to remember. If you've ever felt like something enormous happens when the world goes dark, you're not imagining it. That's your intuition, shouting. In the next few minutes, you'll be handed a map. You'll learn exactly where your consciousness goes each night and how to bring back a force that can reshape your life in the waking world. You can turn out the light, pull the blanket over you, close your eyes, but one thing in you never sleeps: your awareness. The great lie we've been sold is that sleep is unconsciousness, a blackout to recharge the body. But if that were true, how do we explain the visions, the revelations, the moments that change us in the dark? They taught us to believe we are only flesh. But the forbidden book, the one only the brave have read, tells a different story. One you're finally ready to hear. Every night, as your physical body enters rest, your consciousness detaches. It steps beyond space, beyond time, beyond the boundaries of what you've been told is real. And in that space, that in-between realm, it moves. Some people call it the astral plane. Others experience it as parallel worlds, ancestral dimensions, or sacred architecture built of thought and energy. But no matter what form it takes, one thing is certain: you go there, every night. The problem is, you don't remember. Not because the journey didn't happen, but because your waking mind was never trained to hold the memory. Ancient initiates prepared their minds for years just to recall a few seconds of what happened there. Why? Because what you see and who you meet can alter the course of your entire life. You've probably already brought something back, a sudden insight, a dream that felt more real than waking, a shift in how you feel about someone or yourself with no explanation. These are fragments, echoes, clues from your nightly travels. But imagine if instead of fragments, you could retrieve the whole message, the full vision, the power that was meant to return with you. Because this isn't random. There are rules. There is a structure to this space. And once you understand the terrain, the markers, the gates, the guardians, you stop drifting and start navigating. Tonight could be the first night you do it consciously. There is a reason the ancient schools of mystery were hidden, a reason only a few were ever initiated. Because once you see, truly see, what lies behind the veil of sleep, you can never return to the life you lived before. Your nightly journey isn't just an escape, it's an assignment. Each time you sleep, you're being invited into a deeper layer of reality, to retrieve wisdom, to resolve hidden karma, to meet aspects of yourself that the waking world cannot contain. And you're not alone there. Some energies guide, others test, and a few try to block your path, not out of malice, but to see if you're ready. This is why so many people report the same symbols in dreams: the endless hallway, the locked door, the figure that speaks in riddles. They are not fiction, they are checkpoints. But without the map, you wander, and wandering minds forget. You were never meant to sleep in ignorance. You were meant to sleep in power, to cross worlds, gather truths, and awaken more whole than before. In a moment, I'll show you the 3 signs that you've already visited the deeper layers, and the one technique that can help you bring back everything you saw. First, the signs are subtle, almost invisible if you don't know where to look. A sudden clarity in the morning that answers a question you never asked aloud. A feeling of time stretching, as if you lived an entire day within a single night. Or an unexplained emotion, a deep sadness, joy, or even fear that seems to have no cause. These are your consciousness leaving the body's confines, stepping through the veil, your soul's footprints on the landscape of the unseen. Second, the technique to unlock these memories is simple, yet profound. It begins with intention, a clear signal to your consciousness that you are ready to remember. Before sleep, in the quiet moments just before your mind drifts away, speak to your inner self. Tell it you wish to bring back the knowledge, the guidance, the truth. Finally, the third sign, the one that proves your nightly travels are more than dreams, is the transformation you feel throughout your waking day. A sudden insight that changes how you see the world. An inner strength that was absent before. A peace that anchors you, no matter what chaos surrounds you. This is the power of conscious sleep, the gateway to a deeper existence where your true self moves freely beyond time and space. But to truly master this path, it's not enough to simply wake up with new feelings or ideas. You must learn to recognize the language of dreams and the signs your consciousness sends during these journeys. It could be a symbol, an image, a melody, a scent, something that lingers with you like a trace from another realm. For centuries, many cultures preserved knowledge on how to control these states and harness them for healing, inspiration, and even prophecy. Yet in the modern world, these practices are often forgotten or dismissed as superstition. Still, the power we can gain by returning from these nightly travels is immense. It changes not only how we perceive reality, but also the very fabric of the life we live awake. Every time your consciousness sets off on its journey, it gathers information that influences your choices, your emotions, and your destiny. And now, the time has come to reclaim this ancient gift, learning to travel consciously and awaken the hidden forces sleeping within you. To begin, you need to quiet the noise of the waking world and tune into the subtle signals your inner self is sending. This is not a journey for the faint-hearted. It requires courage and patience. But with practice, you'll start to recognize when your consciousness begins to slip from the confines of your physical body. At that moment, the barriers between dimensions become thinner, and you enter a realm where time and space lose their meaning. You may find yourself revisiting moments from your past, exploring possible futures, or encountering entities that feel both familiar and alien. These experiences are not random. They are guided by your deepest desires, fears, and unresolved questions. Your consciousness is searching for answers, healing wounds, and gathering strength. By learning to navigate this nocturnal landscape, you can unlock insights that transform your understanding of yourself and the universe. As you become more aware of these journeys, you begin to notice patterns, symbols, messages, and feelings that repeat and carry meaning. These clues act like signposts, helping you interpret the hidden language of your subconscious and the otherworldly realms you visit. Many have dismissed these experiences as mere illusions or fantasies, but the truth is far more profound. Your consciousness is tapping into layers of reality that most never perceive, accessing knowledge that transcends ordinary life. This knowledge has the power to heal emotional scars, unlock creativity, and even alter your destiny. But it requires you to trust what you experience, even if it defies logic or explanation. The journey is both a challenge and a gift, a chance to awaken parts of yourself long forgotten and to expand beyond the limits imposed by the waking world. What stands between you and this journey's full power is simply awareness. Most people sleep through the gateway, their consciousness wandering, but never fully present. They return empty-handed, their memories lost in a fog of confusion, or dismissed as mere dreams. But you don't have to be like most. You can train yourself to awaken within sleep, to recognize the signs and symbols that your consciousness encounters, to learn the language of this hidden world. Because once you do, the rules of your waking reality begin to shift. Your fears lose their grip, your doubts dissolve, your creativity and intuition become sharper than ever. This is the secret the ancients guarded. The truth they wrote in symbols, encoded in sacred texts, and passed down through secret schools. Sleep is not the enemy of consciousness. It is its most powerful ally. Tonight, you stand on the edge of that truth. The question is, will you step through the door and claim what's waiting for you? You were never meant to be just a passive sleeper, fading into nothingness every night. You were meant to be a traveler, a seeker, a conscious explorer of the hidden realms. Because the dimensions you visit in sleep are not random. They are structured, ancient, and intelligent. Each one holds lessons, mirrors, messages, not just for your personal life, but for your soul's evolution. You may have glimpsed them before. A city made of light, a face from another lifetime, a voice that speaks in riddles, but leaves you shaken with truth. These are not hallucinations. They are fragments of a greater reality your conscious mind has forgotten, but your deeper self remembers. The ancients called these soul missions. You don't dream just to process. You dream to remember, to reconnect, to receive instructions for this lifetime. And when you ignore them, life feels confusing, heavy, or hollow. But when you listen, truly listen, something shifts. You feel aligned, energized, guided. That's the point of these journeys. To return not empty, but transformed. To carry the light of what you saw into your waking life and let it shape the way you love, create, and choose. There is a reason why some of the world's greatest minds, Tesla, Einstein, Da Vinci, claim their most brilliant ideas came to them in dreams. They had learned the secret that sleep is not a pause from life. It is an entryway. When your body lies still, your consciousness lifts. And depending on how prepared you are, how open, how aware you may rise through layers of invisible realms. At the lowest level, you process the day. At the next, you meet fragments of your subconscious, symbols, memories, fears. But beyond that, you reach the teaching realms, places where the rules of time dissolve, where light speaks, where beings without names offer wisdom that burns into your soul. And here's the truth. You've been there before, but you forgot, not because you're incapable, but because no one taught you how to remember. No one showed you the techniques to stabilize the bridge between worlds. Until now. Because once you know what to look for, you'll begin to see the signs everywhere. In your dreams, in déjà vu, in the unshakable feeling that something greater is calling you back. This is not about dreaming. It's about traveling. Crossing into the deeper architecture of reality that exists beyond the visible. Every night, whether you're aware or not, you step out of the physical and into the energetic. And that realm, that secret layer of existence, is trying to speak to you. Those strange dreams you keep having, the ones that feel more real than waking life, they're not random. They're fragments, messages, echoes of the places your consciousness has visited. But here's the part few are ready to hear. There are beings that live in those realms. Some are guides, some are reflections of your own mind, and some are watching, waiting, feeding off your forgetfulness. That's why ancient cultures created rituals, not just to sleep, but to travel with intention, to shield themselves, to receive, to remember. They knew what we've forgotten, that sleep is not passive, it is an initiation. And now, as more people begin to awaken to this hidden truth, the veil is thinning. More of us are starting to recall, not just dreams, but entire journeys, skills learned in other dimensions, answers whispered in the darkness, fearless encounters with the self, beyond the mask of personality. This is why you sometimes wake up exhausted, or enlightened, or haunted. It's why you feel time differently in sleep, because you've been elsewhere. And that elsewhere is just as real, maybe more so, than what you call reality. So the question isn't whether your consciousness travels, it's, are you willing to remember where it went? Because once you do, your nights will never be the same, and neither will your life. If you're ready to unlock even deeper truths about the universe, click on the next video. Your journey is just beginning.